I am Nathan Higdon. I am treasurer of Knox Pride. So I think my favorite part about participating in the Pride Center is I never know who or what kind of thing or need or what is going to come through the door that day. So this week was, someone came through needing help filling out a job application online because they don't have internet access. I had someone come by to drop off clothes for affirmation days that we do for the trans community. I think I had two people that just dropped in because they wanted to see the center. I think my favorite thing is I just never know what it's going to be. And then there's some excitement to that, but sometimes someone's opening the door and I'm like, oh man, what is this going to be?
My name is Dr. Katie Ross, and I am a queer, non-binary academic and educator.
How would you say that your efforts at Pellissippi Pride and the efforts of the separate but parallel Pride groups have influenced the queer youth representation in Knoxville?
Oh, I think it's made a huge difference. Yeah, the presence of Pellissippi Pride, but also other Pride communities, the UTK Pride Center, Knox Pride as a whole, but also just queer-owned businesses. In particular, I think about South in South Knoxville. It's a relatively new coffee shop and gathering place, and I know several of our Pellissippi Pride students go there frequently to study, to hang out, to get a coffee. So I think it's important that all of these communities exist separately but together, because each one kind of serves a different section or priority or need of the community as a whole. There's something for everyone, and that's something that I appreciate about how widespread the Pride communities are across Knoxville.
So the history of how we got to the Pride Center as it presently is that we had Pride in 2019. And then, of course, the pandemic hit the world in 2020, and so we had to cancel the festival. And then once we got the realization that the 2021 festival was going to be canceled as well, we also realized how the pandemic had impacted the LGBTQ plus community in the greater Knoxville area, and there were so many unmet needs. So we had discussed that, and it's something I say all the time, that LGBTQ plus people aren't just gay one day of the year. A festival's great, but our community has needs 364 other days of the year. And so that led us to realize after 2 years of a pandemic that a party wasn't just enough, that there were, again, so many unmet needs in the community that we actually needed a safe space and a center to help other organizations distribute needs in our community.
All of this, of course, is set against the backdrop of COVID. Would you say this was a catalyst to bring separate groups together?
Absolutely, yeah. COVID has definitely brought our groups together. Whereas before we would have just kind of sat in our own little sections. COVID has made it so that we're required to reach out more preemptively and virtually. There's not a lot of us, and so when we can find an opportunity to gather and exchange support, even if it's just a laid-back conversation, is huge in regards to mental and emotional health. We've maintained the virtual setting so that people from all campuses can still gather and meet one another. And we have a pretty strong, consistent group that comes each week, which is really nice.
So the vocational suite where we're sitting was formerly a barber shop. It had been a barber shop for about the last 50 years. And people throughout the community have stopped by to tell us stories about how they came here to get their hair cut. And so when we were envisioning what to do with this space, we thought, let's give it that 50s leave it, and then kind of play upon that 50s barbershop vibe. So we did the checkerboard floor. We actually put in new barber poles on the inside, and we left the sinks and the barber chairs so that we could actually use this space for like affirmation days for individuals and grooming and all the different things. It's focused toward the trans community as they're making their transition. So South Knoxville is a really important location for the LGBTQ plus community. Just down the street we have South Press Coffee, which is a trans-owned business. And an interesting thing about Knoxville, unlike a lot of growing and larger cities, is we don't have a gayborhood or a queer borough or whatever you want to call it. And it was great to come into this neighborhood because South Knoxville isn't gentrified, feels like it's reinventing itself, and there are a number of queer-owned businesses within almost walking distance of the center. So this location was critical for us because it seems to be becoming the hub for the LGBTQ plus community in the Knoxville area. We're a mile and a half from downtown. We're just near UT Knoxville. Easy access. It was a great location, and it's kind of where our community seems to be gravitating right now. So it was really important as we were looking for spaces that it be here in South Knoxville and somewhere within a mile and a half of downtown, so that it was on the bus line and easily accessible for anyone to get here. I think that's really important for the community to realize, especially the younger folks. I know it doesn't mean a lot if your family's kicked you out or if you're having trouble accepting yourself for yourself, but know that there's support out there and that people are on your side, people you don't even know, and people you'll never meet who are fighting for it to be easier for you to be yourself.